Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys. So, another L for the alphabet community as Dave Chappelle comes to San Francisco. I think it was yesterday. And Dave Chappelle sold out the Chase Center in San Francisco, California, of all places, San Francisco. Dave Chappelle, yes, you heard me correct. Of all places, Dave Chappelle sold out San Francisco. Now, we all know the rules of the Chase Center. You can't get in there unless unless you didn't took the potion. They don't even accept test. But I think this is a good sign that the alphabet community is losing their steam. They're losing some momentum behind this, and I'm glad. Because at the end of the day, I feel like what a lot of people are saying, it's just that to a certain degree, they just too damn, you know what I'm saying? It's funny how people say that black people are too emotional. Well, they make a big deal out of everything. You know, you can't say nothing about them without them, like, either enhancing something or making it look like it's the worst thing that they've ever heard. And one thing that pisses me off about them, don't ever compare your struggles to slavery. That is so disrespectful. You know what? I want to tell y'all a quick story, and this is just real talk. I think when it comes to comedy, we all make jokes. We've all made ethnic jokes about other groups of people, or just jokes about different type of people, how they behave and how they act, how they talk, and all that kind of stuff. I do think that we headed down a dangerous path. There's some comedy that is offensive, but then there's some comedy where it's just comedy, where people make just having some fun and poking fun. That's why I kind of wasn't really tripping off how everybody was talking about that Aquafina lady. How they say how they accused her of being a culture vulture and all that kind of stuff. Because, now it's a difference between assuming all black people is like that, but then some black people do certain things. Just like we make jokes about how white people talk. I mean, I feel to a certain degree, as long as it's not like demeaning, then we should be able to joke about anything and everybody, But I remember this joke that Andrew Dice Clay told in one of his skits, and this was years ago. This was like 30 years ago. This was like 1990. Because I think I was 16 at the time, living off of 35th Ave in Oakland. And I always was a big fan of Andrew Dice Clay. I thought he was funny as shit. But it was a skit he did where he was just talking about, how he go to the movie theater and he say he love how black people get into the movie to where they actually talking to the movie. And he did an impersonation of how a black person sound at the movie theater. And the funny thing was, I laughed because I thought it was funny. I wasn't offended one bit. I didn't take it as he was being disrespectful. I had no problem with it. Now, what Teofimo Lopez did, that's a different story. It is no excuse for no person to use that word, especially that happened not to be black. I don't want to hear who you grew up around, who you sleeping with, who you sucking on, who you licking on. It is no excuse for a person that ain't black to say that word. And to a certain degree, I think that black people need to limit and pick their spots when they use that word, because it's just certain scenery that you shouldn't use that word in. Because when I saw Shakur Stevenson, when he had his you know, when he had his first press conference with Rolly, and Tank kept using that word, I was like, see, this is the problem. And then I went off on the Chalos, Jamel Chalo and Tony Harrison, because that word was getting used way too much. And it wasn't just me that had a problem with it. It was other black people that was like, good grief. Like, dude, you ain't at a rap battle. But that's the point that I was trying to make. You have to pick your spot. And like I said, when I heard Andrew Dice Clay say that joke, I wasn't offended at all. I'm 16 years old. I didn't think it was racist. I didn't think it was demeaning towards black people. I was okay with it because I knew what his intentions was. He was just trying to get a laugh. He wasn't saying, oh, you know, I can see if he said, yeah, black people get on my nerve, how they be yelling at the movie, black people is stupid and all. That's a different story. That's a different story. Now, you didn't went somewhere where you shouldn't have went. Now we got to have a conversation. You know? But this thing with Dave Chappelle and how they act like they are off limits. Nah, it don't work like that. When they come to comedy, everybody is fair game. Everybody. Any and everybody. Like I said, as long as your intentions ain't malicious and it's not meant to demean somebody, you know, then it's all good. And it should be all good. Because like I said, to a certain degree with black people, where we didn't went wrong, we sometimes do have to pick our spots. You know? Now there is a thing as excessively like emulating a group of people. Then it come across as you might possibly be a culture vulture. Because it is a such thing as being a culture vulture, where you try to take some people's culture and try to make it your own. So I understand that, you know, I understand that dynamic as well. So trust me, I get it. But getting back to the Dave Chappelle thing, like I said before, I feel like a lot was at stake and a lot was on the line with Dave Chappelle. And I think Dave Chappelle knew, hey man, I can't buckle down, because if I apologize, then, you know what I'm saying, then that gives them more power. And I think Dave Chappelle was like, hey, you're not going to police me. And like he said in his comedy special, he said, yeah, I am willing to meet with you. But guess what? It's going to be on my terms. You're not going to dictate, and you're not going to summons me. You're not going to tell me to come see you when you tell me to. You going to hear from me when I get in that, and it should be did on Dave Chappelle's terms. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So yeah, man, shout out to Dave Chappelle, man, for continuing to stand his ground, man. Because for real, a lot was riding on this. A lot is riding on this. And I loved how he was making it seem like he was about to apologize. You know, when he inducted Jay-Z into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he was like, first of all, I'd like to apologize. He was like, nah. And I know that really got under their skin, because probably someone was somewhere going, oh, here it comes. And then they probably really got mad. Because I know they're somewhere like, damn, it's not working. They had a walkout. And basically the comedy special did get pulled. And Netflix said they're not pulling it. And I'm going to tell you what really happened behind the scenes. You had a lot of comedians standing up for Dave Chappelle, and also, I'm a subscriber to Netflix. I told Netflix, if they pull the closer, I will cancel my subscription. I told them I was a YouTuber, and I told them I could rally up thousands of people to cancel their subscription. Which I was. But nevertheless, that's all I have to say about that. This your boy Town Biz. I am out.